Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 4. Let me go right to it and share my screen so we can get through this overview quickly. So this week, we're still in the synthesis essay, and thank you for getting all your work in on time and working really hard. I know that it's going quickly, but you're doing a great job, so just hang in there. Let us take a look at our text for the week. We are in the writer's loop, section 9.2. This is keep track of source information and avoid plagiarism. So it's really important when you are starting to do this sort of research to really keep track of where you found your information, and make sure that if you're doing a direct quote, that it is actually in quotation marks and that you have that source material available for you. So this is a section in the chapter that I think it's extremely important, although chapter 9 is really super helpful, and we will be reading other sections from that chapter as you get into the final paper, the research argument. But this helps you to keep track of your information, keep track of your list of sources, and to understand the basics of MLA and APA citation styles. So in this class, as I said before, we're focusing on MLA citation style. So you will have an explanation of the MLA style, the elements that you typically find in each citation. We usually start with the author and the title of the source, and then all of this various information you may or may not have, depending on the type of source that you're using. But this is the order in which you will find it in every MLA style citation. The last one usually ending with either a publication date and location of the source. So the location of the source could be page numbers. It could be a DOI, which is a digital object identifier, which is typical for those scholarly academic journal articles, or it could be a URL, a web page. So if you found the source in a database, you need to also include the database name before the DOI or the URL. And then they have several examples, which is typical of most style guides. And if you want to find more information on how to do citation, you can also look in the appendix of your textbook. Appendix 1 and Appendix 2 will walk you through the various kinds of citations that you're likely to come up on. And then I have another resource for you that I have linked that I'll show you in a moment. The other reading assignment is 11.2, section 11.2. And just give a moment for that to come up. And this is focus on your own ideas as you synthesize sources. So these readings might actually be a repeat from last week, but if you didn't get to them, definitely take a look at them this week so that you know how you're doing a synthesis essay and how to incorporate citations. No, incorporate paraphrasing and quotations from outside sources. So this is very helpful. Information on how to use signal phrases to clarify your use of a source, and the types of verbs that you use in signal phrases. A wonderful list of active verbs that you will see here, and positioning your signal phrases in an effective way. So this is a really good resource to come to, just to learn how to incorporate those quotations and paraphrases and citations in your own writing. So that's chapter 9.2 and chapter 11.2 of the Writer's Loop. Let me come back to our other assignments. So I have a couple of course pages. One is the synthesis essay peer review questions, which I'll show you in a moment. And then of course the peer review instructions. Then I also have this outside resource, which is a link to the MLA Style Center. And I'm just going to open that up here for a moment and just show you a little bit about the website. So this is a good resource. They have a quick links over here that talks about their most recent edition of the MLA Handbook, which was published in April of this year, 2021, and then some other helpful things. Ask the MLA, there's a lot of frequently asked questions there. Using MLA format, sample papers, works cited, a quick tour, which is really handy. But you can also come up here to the top menu. They have an interactive practice template, which is helpful if you want to put in those various elements that you have learned about in the textbook and that I've made reference to. Writing and research, again, there are various things here, sample papers, formatting your research project, which may come in handy for the next paper. But let me take you to this interactive practice template and just show you how it looks. Again, it has this template of the various elements that you now will have in each MLA citation, and then you would just type it in. If your title of the source is italicized, you can click this little blue bubble circle at the end and it'll italicize it for you. And then when you plug everything in, it will have the citation up here that you can copy if you want to. You can just copy it that way. So that is the works cited list entry interactive practice template. You can also come to the quick guide, which walks you through the various elements of the MLA core elements, the various elements. Yeah, I'm kind of repetitive there. If you click on this Get Started, it shows you several different examples, I think probably 3 or 4 examples, and then you can have an opportunity to do your own works cited entry. Okay. Next, we have videos and lectures. I do have these linked separately, although I also have pages up, which I will show you in a moment. And then we have the assignment checklist. You have a peer review of the synthesis essay rough draft, which is due on the 6th, and that is Saturday. Okay. And the synthesis essay final revision is due Wednesday morning, November the 10th. So let's go to the next page here. More on revision and editing. These 2 videos are really very super informative and they're short, but I think they're really helpful. So I have a link here to the revision and editing checklist. If you haven't downloaded that, I recommend that you do it. So it just has a list of things to look through before you submit your work. And even though I say up here, I've done a lecture and I've provided a page on revision, it doesn't hurt to receive another message on how to revise and edit. So if any of you are familiar with the crash course videos, they have gotten together with Arizona State University and they have a bunch of videos on the writing process, which I think are really helpful. And they're usually about 9 to 10 minutes long. So to hear from somebody other than me, you can consider this a lecture on revision and editing. That's how to revise and what is editing. And then, as I said, there's the synthesis essay peer review questions. So this is a little different than the peer review that you have been doing because we're actually looking at more of, we're actually going to look at the full paper. So I want you to look at the organization of the paper. Are there basic sections, an introduction, a body, and a conclusion? Is there a works cited page? If any of those things are missing, you want to call that attention, call your peers' attention to that. Did the essay have at least 3 pages, not including the works cited page? Did the essay have at least 2 sources listed? And was the material ordered in a way that was logical, clear, and easy to follow? Then with the citations, did the writer cite sources adequately and appropriately? Note if there's any kind of incorrect formatting with the in-text citations. Were all the citations and the text listed in the works cited section? Note any discrepancies. So the thing with in-text citations and the works cited page is You may read a lot of sources, but you may only choose to incorporate ideas from a few, right? So in MLA, we have what's called a works cited page, and the works cited page only cites that work that you have used in your paper. It doesn't take into consideration that you may have read 10 books on something if you only quoted from 2, right? You're only going to include those sources that you have either quoted or paraphrased from. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And then the last thing I want you to look at is grammar and style. Were there any grammatical, punctuation, or spelling problems that stuck out at you? Was the writer's writing style clear? Were the paragraphs and sentences cohesive? And you may want to discuss any areas that were unclear or confusing. So for the peer review, you may want to construct it as kind of an informal letter saying, "Hi, so-and-so, I noticed that you did this, that, and the other thing. These are really great." So of course, always try to start with good information first. Say, hey, you know, these are the wonderful things that you're doing with your paper. However, I see a few things that still could be fixed. That's a good way of approaching constructive criticism. So that's the synthesis essay peer review questions. And then I have another short video for you. This one I think is about 9.5 minutes long on citations and quotes. Again, just more information similar to what you've read in the book, but I suggest that you don't skip over it because it's just good reinforcement. And then we have the synthesis essay final revision. And this is just a reiteration of the assignment. It should be 4 to 5 pages. And the final revision is due Wednesday, November 10th. The peer review of the rough drafts you should be doing, you know, the rough draft is due on the 3rd. So you should be doing peer review on Saturday, by Saturday, not just on Saturday. And I need to fix the file types. For some reason, I thought if I just type in doc and PDF, it will accept docx, which I actually have to be specific and state docx. Why, I don't know, but there you go. So I will fix that. And I think that is at the end of the module. So if you have any questions on what you need to do for this week, please don't hesitate to email me. I do try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I have several other courses that I'm teaching this semester. I teach in person on Tuesday and Wednesday nights at Cincinnati State, which I think I've told you about before. And then I also teach a 15-week section of this same class. So it's kind of, I'm kind of juggling a bunch of different things at the same time because nobody's doing the same type of assignments at the same time. Everything's just been kind of staggered, and I just want to make sure that I am saying the right things at the right time to the right groups of people. So if you have any questions and anything needs to be clarified, please don't hesitate to reach out to me with an email. And I will answer anything that needs to be answered. So that is week 4, hopefully in a not too large nutshell. Have a great week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.